Welcome back to First Year in Medical Device Sales. So excited to be coming to you today with another great episode, part 2 of How to Sell Like an Expert with Jason Elmore. I hope you guys really enjoyed part 1. I got a lot of great messages, so really enjoy being able to provide you as much value as possible. I actually just got back from Irvine, so I live in Phoenix. Had about a 6-hour drive there. Got there about 10:30 last night. Had a showing this morning and a meeting this morning, and got back here about 6 p.m. So one of those days on the road, as I'm sure many of you are well aware and getting used to. But again, you guys, I'm just so thankful to have you a part of this community. Press the like and subscribe button if you can. A 5-star review really does help us grow this channel. And if you haven't, share it with your friends, share it with other people in the industry, because again, our goal is just to help as many people as we can. And then if you haven't, give me a follow, give me a connection on LinkedIn. We all know we need one for medical device sales, but love connecting with you guys and girls, and just want to make sure that we can help provide as much value as we can possibly. On my LinkedIn, I try to not only post how to break into medical device sales, but also just motivational stuff, things that are going to help you all in medical device sales and then also outside of it. So I am excited about this journey with you all. I love seeing the adoption and the new listeners and how many people we have coming here. And again, just want to be able to help you guys in the best way possible, and again, help you just progress in your career and have as much success as possible. So if you haven't, share it with a friend, press that like and subscribe button. A 5-star review helps us grow this channel, and it would mean the absolute world to me. And we also have our ebook, First Year In, if it's something you're ever interested. The link is in our description, or it's on our medical device sale, new to medical device sales website. But let's get past all that and get into the episode.
Listen, an agenda is a favor to your customer. Okay. It's a best practice in business. It's a best practice in med tech. Every time you meet with a physician or a client or a customer or a call point, whatever it is, always have a reason for being there. And a 3-point agenda is a must. And literally, like, write it down. Now, what I counsel my clients when we build their vision decks and in their first meeting to present their technology, we put it in their PowerPoints. And so it looks like this. You see this one?
Yep.
The next 10 minutes, I'd like to introduce our technology to you. If you like what you hear, we can spend the next 10 minutes on the sawbones model with the devices kind of training your hands. And then I want to spend the last 10 minutes getting you ready for the conversation in the exam room. This new technology is going to have an impact on the exam and the conversation. They're going to ask you new questions, and you're going to have to explain some new details. So I just want to make sure you're in a position to do that. Does that sound good? Ooh, I got my first yes.
Yep.
I also got a confirmation that the time frame is right. If you expected a 30-minute appointment, he says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I only have 7."
Yep.
And now you got to make a decision whether to punt or do something. Like, what am I going to do? But have an agenda. And so what's funny is, I'll do it right here. Many times when I'm walking into the OR, I grab a piece of paper out of the printer at the nurse's station, and I just fold it up into my jersey, right? It also goes into my scrubs. I've seen a lot of pre-call plans. Nobody uses them because they're really lengthy and built out. But if you have 3 things on a piece of paper, right? The first thing is whatever you want. The second thing is whatever you want. But the last thing always has to be teach. Teach me something new. Bring value to me every time you're with me. So I don't know what you're going to teach them. Your company is supposed to be giving you insights and valuable information, but you better teach them something every time you're with them.
Yeah.
So the first thing is, hey, Thursday night, we've got the dinner program. The second thing is we've got the patient ed letter thing you want to set up. But there's something I need to show you. Do you have a couple minutes between cases in the lounge? I need to show you something. It's super cool. Now, if you get into the habit of showing me something super cool every time you're here, they'll be like, yeah, they can't wait, right? And so what was funny was when I was in the field, doctors would see me. What 3 things you got for me today? I loved it. I was like, okay, this is working. They loved it. So yeah, always 3 things per meeting. But as you have presentations and you're teaching me something, like an agenda slide, super helpful. I highly recommend it. Always have an agenda. Why are we here? How long is this going to take?
Yeah.
Why are we here? How long is this going to take? Why are we here? How long? Because here's the problem. You may only intend to take 5-6 minutes, but 3 minutes into it, they're looking at their watch because you didn't tell them how long this was going to take.
Yep.
Okay. So just a best practice.
That's so good. I just want to touch on the point because we've all been there where it's like you walk in and you're like, it's been either way. Hey doc, what do you got? And sometimes, very rarely, they're like, I got the afternoon. Hey, what do you got?
Right.
That really never happens. It's usually my retirees that are like, yeah, I'm not part of the practice anymore. I just come and hang out. But
Right.
like usually, like it even has come in where they'll walk in before they even say hi. They see you because you're just another rep, and they're like, hey, I got 2 minutes, right? And then you're in that conversation, but like we all know, we've all been there. They tell us you got 2 minutes, and 30 minutes later, you guys are laughing and they're walking out,
Right.
and they only have 2 minutes for people they don't care about and stuff that's not interesting or value to them.
Right. Didn't plan on this, but let's pivot there real quick. On the screen right now is something called Aided Recall. This was a startup company I was a part of, myself and 6 others. Long story short, first year on the market, we generated about $7 million in revenue and got taken out for 81 million. Not bad.
Yeah.
One of the things we looked at was this team was very disciplined in using teaching aids. Okay, so every time they met with a surgeon to introduce the product, they had a PowerPoint, and the PowerPoint was built in a very specific way. This is one of the things I advise my clients on how to build their sales tools. The sales team was also trained a very specific way. They could get through the slide deck in 7 minutes. Now, what we found out recently in some of the research that we're doing, surgeons only ever have 15 minutes. In fact, if you know surgeons' life, right, when they're in clinic, they're seeing 40 to 100 patients a week in clinic. How much time do they get with patients? 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So there's this thing out of habit. They're so used to spending 15 minutes with somebody that they've got a built-in internal clock now where they start looking at their watch at 14 minutes because they feel it. 14 minutes almost up. 15 minutes almost done. So you're going to get 7 to 8 minutes to introduce whatever you want to introduce, and that'll leave you 7 to 8 minutes for a Q&A. You might as well just lean into it. If your sales force, if your marketing team isn't building your tools this way, if they're not recognizing this reality, you need to call me. All right. But what's on the screen? So the thing to note is when we do aided recall, as classic marketers, aided recall means I go to your customers at 12 months and I say, hey, do you remember Jacob telling this message? Do you remember Jacob saying this? Do you remember Jacob saying that? That's what aided recall is. If you can get 2 messages above 60%, you're crushing it. Okay, well, as you can see on the screen, this team got 12 messages above 60%.
Yeah.
If you can make your messages that sticky, you're gonna be awesome. Okay. So we're out there talking to people, we're selling, we want them to remember what we said. We do it in a very specific way, but one of the things I hear often is if I gave you 25 to 30 slides, Jacob, just off the cuff, if I give you a PowerPoint with 25 to 30 slides, how long do you think that's going to take for you to get through in front of this crowd?
Probably about 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. So it kills what we call message velocity. It just kills it because a typical sales force, if you give them a sales tool like that, they go, well, that means I got to schedule a dinner and some lunches. Okay, well, that's 4 to 6 weeks out now, which means that message that I need you to get out isn't going to get to anybody for 4 to 6 weeks. And it's like, no, I need to get that to all 25 surgeons that you call on in the next month. So that means you're going to have to be able to legitimately ask them in between cases, hey, do you have a few minutes between cases? I got something I need to show you. I need 7 to 8 minutes. So you can do it in 7 to 8 minutes. They'll give you the other 8 to 10 or 20. Next thing you know, you're going back to the office to like do some stuff, right? Because it was,
Yeah.
But we're no longer at this period where people are used to sitting down for 1 to 2 hours to hear somebody speak. I don't know if you know about the Lincoln Douglas debates. The format was 90 minutes first guy, 60 minutes second guy, 30 minutes first guy. Like you were going to do a 2-hour deal and people loved it. Well, we're not there anymore, right?
Yeah.
This is where we are now.
Yeah.
Things are on the screen and they're moving and my attention span is very, very short. Well, our medical customers are the same way. They're being conditioned the same way. So you better figure out how to do this. And it's
100%.
called point of the slide. So in my book and in my curriculum, we have something called point of the slide, which means you got to be changing slides about every 10 to 30 seconds. Um, if you are 1 minute or less per slide, I'll let you show me 1,000 slides. If you're 1 minute or more, I'm going to lose attention in about 3 slides.
Yep.
It's just the way of the world. So,
Yep.
so we have that, right? And so this whole agenda setting thing, using teaching aids, it's super important. If this isn't ringing any bells with your audience, if that's not what they're experiencing in their sales jobs right now, like, you need to call me, because it's a legit thing. We need to do this. I can help you. You had also asked to talk a little about interview skills.
Yeah.
One of the things that you're so good at is getting people from outside the industry to get opportunities to interview. And as a manager, I've been on the other side, right? I've been interviewing.
Yep.
As the director of sales learning and development, I also help with competency models, job descriptions, some of that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So when it comes to interview skills, here's just a couple pointers I'll toss out to your team, and hopefully this helps them. One, there should be 3 things, like really important things about you that make you a great candidate, that whether they ask you or don't ask you, you're going to make sure that gets out. So have them on paper. Like, I don't care if they ask me or not. I'm going to make sure that before they leave, they know this about me, because I feel like it's one of the key things for me getting the job.
Yep.
Most candidates that I meet, they don't even know, they haven't really thought about, like, I don't have 3 things I
Yeah.
really important to know. Okay, well,
Yeah.
think about it. What are the 3 things that are really important to know about you? All right. Most of the interview, I, as a hiring manager, are attempting just to figure out, are you a good person and do you do good work? Every question I ask you has a question behind the question. And the question behind the question is, why should I hire you?
Yep.
So the way you answer every question, no matter what the question is, needs to be framed up in, and this is why you should hire me. And this is why you should hire me. And that's why you should hire me, because that's what's behind every question I'm asking.
Yeah.
So sometimes that comes across as, point to your family. Like, were your parents entrepreneurial? Did they have a specific job? Were you influenced by them? Because long-term situations tend to have big influence on you, and tell me more about what I can expect from you.
Yep.
In some of your short-term work history. I grew up on a farm. My family was this. My family, like, oh, I got a better picture of you now, right?
Yes.
So the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. In fact, in my interviews, one question I try to ask is, what does your dad or your mom do?
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
Chances are you have their character traits. Chances are you have if there's something about that.
Mhm.
So if you can parlay that, that also sometimes helps me answer the second part of the question. Who you are on the weekends tells me a lot about you. Now listen, a lot of these opportunities are so good that I, as an executive, I'm not worried about the product or the procedure. We know it works.
Yeah.
You know what I'm afraid of? A headline. You present an opportunity to me, but you also present a little bit of liability to me. If you're not committed to doing well by doing right, it's the headline that could ruin the opportunity for all of us.
Yeah.
Okay. And there are reps who have burned down territories. I know some companies where that company literally couldn't go back into the Northwest for 2 years. Rep came in, put product on the shelf, never came back. It's the burnt over district. Like, that company literally cannot come back. Everybody's pissed at that person.
Yep.
It's a shame, but it's true. So as a hiring manager, there are questions I cannot ask you, but you should know that it's on my mind. And if you could answer it without me asking, I'd appreciate that. Is that fair?
Yeah.
All right. All right. There are a couple questions I would ask you to be careful with. Like, just watch out. These are tough ones. They're bad questions. They're not good questions. You need to be real careful with this one.
Ones that you probably hear at all of them
Yes.
that I've heard 1,000 times when we go through this.
So one of it is, so how much are you looking to make? The second one is, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I've told so many people that question makes me want to run my head through a wall. Especially with my answer is always this. Again, you're going to go into more detail, but just real sidetrack. I always tell me, yeah, ask me that, and then have COVID happen. Like everyone's 5-year plan.
Right. No, that's a perfect example. Yeah. Okay. So what do we do? Like they did ask me that question, right? And the answer, especially for entry level, needs to be something like this. It's like, listen, I work hard and I work well. And so far, my career has been based on showing people that I am committed to excellence and I can be trusted. And it's been my experience that when executives see excellence and people who can be trusted, they tend to throw opportunities at those people. So I'm just going to focus on doing good work, my commitment to excellence, and convincing you that I'm trustworthy. And then I'm sure you'll find a place for me. Right. So that the whole 5-year thing, like nobody can know.
Yeah.
But what I do know is people who do good work and make themselves trustworthy do just fine.
Yeah.
All right. In relation to the dollar amount question, you got to be careful with this. Sometimes it's a ham-handed or just not a great job on the part of the interviewer. What they're trying to get out sometimes is, I don't want a mismatch between what I have to offer and what you're hoping to make, because that's a problem. Okay. If you're not properly motivated by the compensation plan, that's a problem. Okay. Yep. So dig into it a little bit and ask a question about the question. Say, well, help me understand. Are you trying to make sure this is a good match financially to properly motivate me? Because here's what I have made. And my understanding is this is what this is paying with a future that like clarify a little bit before you just throw numbers out. Like never throw numbers out.
Yeah.
And in most cases, it's a default to the other answer. It's like, look, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to try to exceed all your expectations. And my understanding is compensation for overachievement looks like this. Is that true? Don't point to what the job pays. Point to, what do I get if I overachieve? So for instance, later in my career, I was able to say, listen, I appreciate that question. Tell me, what does somebody make if they go 130% quota? Because if you look at my resume, that's all I've ever done.
Yeah.
150, 200%. What does that pay?
Yeah.
Tell me that.
I love it. And like this, the thing I just want to say is, like, even from the original question that you asked, from my experience, again, and I'm not saying I've interviewed a crazy amount of times, but from my experience, a lot of times these managers aren't ready for a question like that. Yeah. You'll actually get them on their heels and they're like they don't even know why they're asking their question. They just have it on the line and they're just like, here we go.
So the reality is, there does need to be a good fit, right? If you've been making 90 and they're offering 110, but if you've been making 90 and they're offering 60, that's a problem.
Yeah.
However, if you're committed to excellence, you do good work so that people can trust you. What's that look like if I exceed? What if I exceed your expectations? Then what? I can, and whatever their answer is, either you can live with it or you can't live with it, right? But the reality is, in a lot of these entry-level positions, is you got to tell them, like, listen, I understand this is an entry-level position. And if I exceed, like I've been succeeding, right? If I exceed your expectations, I'm either going to get promoted or I'm going to get an offer from somebody else. Is that fair? Like, yeah, that's fair. Okay, then we're aligned on expectations. When can I have the job? So the other thing that, from an interview standpoint, always interview the person across the table. Who you go to work for really matters. Your career is going to be based on the people you get to work with or work for. And we're talking career, like long-term career. If the person you're working for and reporting to is an award winner, you got a good shot, right? If they know their stuff, if they can point, hey, do this, don't do this, if they have pearls and tips, and like, that's who you want to work for.
Yeah.
Okay. So ask them, just out of curiosity, if I get a chance to work for you, what awards have you won? Can you tell me a little bit about your history and your performance? It's my understanding that, a lot of my success will be based on the person I get a chance to work for and work with. So ask them. And if it's not there, it's not there.
100%.
Like, punt, leave. And then secondly, again, I'm coming from the training standpoint, but I'm telling you, especially entry level, if the training sucks, your resume is going to suck.
Yeah.
You're going to come in here, you're going to stub your toe, you're going to underperform. Then you have a hard time getting that next gig.
Yeah.
And it might not be your fault.
Yeah.
It might not be your fault. Right now we have an interesting dynamic going on in med tech. Startup med tech is hiring their first handful of reps. They're trying to launch a product, and they're small and they're trying to conserve capital. But people are coming in and they're getting spooked because these small companies aren't making a good first impression.
Yeah.
What's interesting is recruiters, when they place an individual, if you don't stay for 90 days, they don't get their commissions. So if these new hires aren't staying for 90 days and they're leaving because they got spooked because the training was so bad or the onboarding was so bad,
They don't get paid.
they don't get paid.
Yeah.
So some of my clients that are calling now are like, hey, I hear you actually can solve this problem for some of my clients. Enhance their training, enhance the welcome wagon, make a much better first impression on these candidates so they stick.
Yeah.
It's dude, 2022 has been weird, and 2023 is going to be
even more.
interesting. Yeah.
We got some things coming down. Yeah.
Right on. So be super careful. It's your career, right? It's your income.
Yep.
Ask about the training. And if you don't know what good training looks like, call me. We can talk about it now. I'll give you the right questions to ask.
Yeah. Well, real quick, I do just want to mention, because I think this is a good time just to even mention you have a course for sales training. And would love to kind of just plug that real quick for you, because
right on.
You're providing a lot of information. And so, to your point, when people are like, I don't even really know, I would love just for you to share your stuff, because you have great information and great content.
Right on. Yeah. Just go visit my website. If you're somebody trying to entry level and you're trying to be a representative and get on the sales side, there's a lot of information. There's some free resources here that you'll appreciate. And then there's a book, right? It's very tactical, very specific actions, very specific things to know, very specific things to do to make you a really great med tech rep.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a leader or if you're in sales training, we should talk, because one of the things that a lot of med tech sales trainers don't get a chance to do is benchmark. They've never actually had a chance to talk to somebody who does their job or look at other programs or go visit. And I've had that opportunity several times with Teleflex. We had 6 divisions. We got a chance to do some benchmarking at Johnson & Johnson. We had 5 different programs we benchmarked. It's just, I can help you with what good looks like. And then obviously there's a whole thing here for med tech executives who are trying to get their companies launched the right way. But there are courses. There's a whole video series that people could take. It's relatively cost effective. There's 10 sessions, really top tier stuff in terms of med tech resources, in addition to the book. And then right now there's some special offers. You can get one-on-one with me. I mean, we literally can get one-on-one. We'll schedule some time. And so whether it's video online or whether it's in person, you've got options.
Love that, guys. And again, because this is just the amount of value, because as you can see, we could talk for hours. We could just have Jason on for, the next 5 hours just going in, because he goes into such great detail and he gives so much. And this is just another way for you guys to go get that, because again, a lot of the people who do reach out, listen to this show, don't know what they're doing. And again, I never say that in a mean way. I never am saying that to put you guys down. It's the conversation of, we just don't know what we don't know. Same for me, right? I don't know what I'm doing. I've never been in a startup position before. So it's I'm reaching out to people, you're learning from it and trying to learn as best and as fast as you can. And while you're doing the job, because there's no way for you to know it if you've never done it. And so, but when you have somebody with Jason, who's 20 plus years experience, has been with the companies, actually goes and just trains med tech companies and does their sales training, probably not a bad person to listen to when it comes into trying to learn about training and sales and how to do it.
Absolutely. One of the things that you and I talked about was, hey, should I pay money for training? Mm, yeah, in a lot of cases,
Yep.
you're going to have to. But in some cases, my first question to some people is, are you reading books? And what books are you reading? Because if you're not going to do that, that's the cheapest thing you could do, right?
Yep.
For $20. But the other thing is this, we talked about this earlier. You're going to need to be a little bit of a more eclectic person to succeed in our industry.
Yep.
You got to be super smart. That's part of it, right? It's a very challenging thing, but you're calling on super smart people, especially if your call point is surgeons. So reading, I don't just mean sales books. I don't just mean leadership books. As you can see on this list, there's, my book and other sales books. Start with Why, Simon Sinek. Some management books, Conviction to Lead, Now What, First Break All the Rules. Obviously, the Challenger Sale, I'm a big proponent of Challenger Sale methodology. Adoption Curve with Jeffrey Moore. You got to know Crossing the Chasm if you're going to launch new technology. But also I have here John Adams by David McCullough. Like, that's a biography book. Like, you need to know a little bit of history. The End of the World is Just the Beginning by Peter Zion. There's some big shifts going on logistically, geopolitically, shipping. Like, we've had this COVID thing and some crazy there. There's a lot of stuff going on. You need to pay attention so that if you do make a good impression on a surgeon, if you do start to build that professional relationship, they don't find you to be shallow.
Yeah.
So, but really, to be the type of person who's going to excel in this industry, you got to be reading broadly just because.
Yep.
It takes really smart people thinking really good things, because your whole job is to discover what other people miss. If you're waiting for your boss to tell you everything you need to know, Jacob, has that been your secret to success? Is waiting for people to tell you what to do?
No.
No.
Yeah.
No. So obviously there's some challenges there. Let me see. Oh, again, I don't know why this isn't working. So let me get there. What is it? 25. Oops. One of the things I'll share with people, I was at a company and we had a special speaker come, and it happened to be Lou Holtz. And he was just great, dude. He was awesome. But that's why. Escape. He said something that I'll never forget. There we go. He said, I'll put it on the screen. There we go. Lou Holtz said, everybody you meet asks 3 questions of you. Now, not explicitly, they don't verbally come out, but implicitly, everybody's asking 3 questions about you. The first question is, are you committed to excellence? The second question is, can I trust you? And the third question is, do you care? Now, a lot of people listening to us right now have heard the statement, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yep.
Okay. I know that statement. I know that's true, but I can tell you that's not true here. If you come into med tech, you're entering a performance environment. A performance environment. You come into my OR today and you're covering a case and you don't know your stuff, and your product wasn't here on time and it wasn't sterilized like it was supposed to be because you forgot to drop it off yesterday. And we get into the case and I struggle a little bit. And you don't have the answers for me, so I don't enjoy this. And it goes twice as long as it was supposed to. And I'm really not exactly happy with the outcome. Do I really want to get to know you better? No, I don't. See, that's what I mean by you're in a performance environment. So here's how it goes. Jacob, you come in here and you cover my case today and you're on time and you know your stuff and this case goes well and your product works well. Great. Next week I call you and you're on time again and you do it again and you do it again. And 2 weeks after that, you do it again. Okay. Now I see that you're committed to excellence. You're reliable, which is kind of how we answer that question. Can I trust you? Right.
Yep.
I've tested you on a couple things with a couple of my questions and I find out, yeah, okay, this cat's got some integrity. Was willing to say, I don't know, I'll get you the answer. Was willing to, a couple of those kind of gotcha questions.
Yep.
So Jacob, tell me, where are you from? Oh, really?
I
Yeah, and you're into what? Oh, okay, cool. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like,
100%.
if I screw the pooch when I'm in here and I'm not reliable, they don't care that I'm got 9 kids and that I have this. Like,
Yep.
they don't
Preach.
care.
Yep.
You're in a performance environment, and you have to know that these are the 3 questions, and this is the order they're going to ask them in, and this is how it works.
Yep. That's so good.
All right, so there's more where that came, but I think that's a good place for us to stop. Honestly, I'm invested in this audience. I think med tech is the place to be. I love this work. We're fortunate that we get to do it. It's a great job. It's a great thing to be a part of. It usually comes with a great income, and if you can get here, I'm happy for you. And if there's a way I can help you get here, go to my website, schedule some time. Let's connect.
I love it. And then Jason, also, you're big on LinkedIn too. So any other social medias that they can reach out to you and just connect again, I'll tell them to
No, that's great.
go to the
LinkedIn
website.
is it. The others not really so much.
You're not TikTok dancing, huh?
No TikTok.
Love it. No, but again, Jason, I just want to say thank you so much because, like, again, this was so different than some of the other podcasts that we do because but you just go right into all the strategic and being able to explain it and what these guys need to see because, right, we give a lot of detail, but being able to be with somebody, and this is where I tell you guys, when I told you we're with a true expert today, you guys really got to see that. Somebody who's lived this, breathed this, and done this for the last 20 plus years and been able to see good, see bad, been able to be a part of these organizations. And now he's actually out there training these organizations. And so, again, Jason, I just want to say thank you for your time because it means the world and just your knowledge.
My pleasure. Thanks for what you're doing. Man,
Yeah.
you're on a mission from God.
You got it, man. Hey, the goal is to help as many people as we can. And we just are fortunate enough to do it with medical device sales and knowing, again, I always tell people this is an industry that's been able to change my life and impact my life. And also I get to impact others every single day. And I just hope to be able to let others do that because, I just love being able to be with everybody and know that we're doing a purpose bigger than ourselves. So again, I really appreciate that. And if you guys are listening, again, please feel free to go. I will link Jason's website in our description and also go check out his books, his courses. Again, they're great. He's got great information. So down in the description below, you'll be able to click on those. And also I'll link his LinkedIn so you guys can go find him on there as well. So I want you guys to know, just, how we are. We appreciate you. We appreciate your time. We're hoping the best for you. And again, if you guys are interested of really breaking into medical device sales, our average person is breaking in 11 weeks at $91,000. We just actually got a construction worker hired that was 22 with no sales experience and no degree. And so again, I've always joked around that's impossible, but it's impossible till you do it. And so we're here just to help you guys walk through that process. So if you guys are interested in breaking into medical device sales, please feel free to reach out to me. The link is in the description. Also, you guys can reach out on Jacob McLaughlin at New to Medical Device Sales on LinkedIn and all the other social media. So until next time, we will see you, and I appreciate you. And Jason, again,